A bit of controversy has been stirred by the Stonegate Pub Group's decision to increase the price of a pint of beer by 20p at peak times. Changing prices according to the level of demand is called surge pricing or dynamic pricing. Other examples of surge pricing introduced in recent years include Uber, where the price for a taxi ride increases where there's high demand in a particular location. Uber argues that this attracts more taxis to come to that area and maximises the chance that taxis are available. There's also been some experimentation with dynamic prices for some live concerts, which has resulted in some tickets being sold at eye-wateringly high prices. This has happened for some big names such as Bruce Springsteen, Harry Styles and Beyoncé. In the UK, we're used to the idea that there's one price for a product. An increasing price when demand is high feels like profiteering. It feels like we're being ripped off, which is why there's been a bit of press coverage about the extra 20p a pint. Of course, we've all become totally used to dynamic pricing for travel and accommodation. In fact, I have to say that I quite enjoy the process of finding the best bargains in this situation. Here are some prices for a train ticket from London to Paris. The outward train, economy class, is on offer between £84 and £189 depending on the train. For the Hilton Hotel in Paris, the price of a room varies between 506 and 1566 euros depending on the dates. I don't think that people really object to this pricing system. As I say, it does provide the opportunity to find bargains. That said, if you're travelling on a train and you see that the person sitting next to you has paid half the price you paid, you don't really feel very good about that. Let's take a look at the economics behind dynamic pricing. This is a demand curve. It represents the relationship between the price of a product and the quantity bought. For most products, as the price falls, the amount that consumers will buy increases. Thus, we get a downward sloping demand curve. So the train company selling tickets to Paris, if it sells tickets for £150, the demand curve tells the company that they'll sell 1,000 tickets. If they can differentiate the 200 extra customers that are only prepared to pay £100, they can gain extra revenue shown by the blue square. And if they can differentiate the 600 customers that are prepared to pay £180, they'll also gain extra revenue shown by the green square. From an economic perspective, this seems to work well. A train company or airline will start at the lowest price and then keep increasing the price as more tickets sell. From the consumer perspective, if you plan in advance, you can get some very good bargains. If you leave it till the last minute, you may well end up paying a lot more. We can note that in a competitive market, it's not the company that actually decides the price. How many train journeys get sold depends on what consumers are actually prepared to pay. Other factors will come into play sometimes, and if consumers are not prepared to pay higher prices, it may well be the case that the last-minute ticket price falls. In principle, concert tickets or the price of a pint at the pub are no different from an economic perspective in terms of prices being varied between customers. Some consumers may prefer to go to the pub off-peak to benefit from cheaper prices. This may make the pub more pleasant in terms of it being less packed when it's busy and the higher price applies. So far, so good. However, the dramatic change in computing and the use of algorithms has given companies the ability to personalise pricing down to the individual level. The pub example is simple and transparent. A consumer knows the exact times that the 20p surcharge on a pint will apply, and it applies to everyone. However, dynamic pricing has become very dynamic for certain things. In most cases, companies know a lot about us and our preferences when we're buying goods and services online. So the way dynamic pricing works now is that if you and I both look up flights to New York at exactly the same moment, we may each be given different prices for exactly the same ticket. Because algorithms can now predict whether we're a customer that's willing to pay a high or low price, it can adjust the price quote accordingly. There is an element of this that I like. It means that people on low income may be offered cheaper prices than those on high income who are willing to pay more. In principle, this is similar to the availability of discounts for the unemployed or students. My politics are such that I like this. However, many people may object to this on the basis that it's unfair to increase prices just because someone happens to be richer. In 2016, the UK Competition and Markets Authority investigated whether the use of pricing algorithms could lead to competition concerns. They found that problems could arise where there's insufficient competition in the market. As long as consumers have a choice, this restricts the ability of companies to manipulate prices too much in a way that harms consumers. Overall, I think that there are potential problems with dynamic pricing. There are examples where I would feel pretty peeved if I'm charged more. Apparently, Amazon is constantly changing prices, and there's no guarantee that different customers will see the same price. Something feels wrong about Amazon knowing that I'm more likely to buy a product than someone else and charging me a much higher price for it. B&Q, the DIY store, has experimented with systems where the location service in the phone allows the digital price indicator on the shelf to adjust according to which customer is next to the product. This to me feels like it's taking it a little bit too far. But from an economic perspective, most economists wouldn't see a problem with this, unless the company has some monopoly power. If I feel I'm being fleeced by B&Q, I always have the choice to go to other stores. On the whole, however, dynamic pricing is a positive development in that it allows customers to get good discounts if they shop around or buy early, instead of just paying the same price as everyone else. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.